up? What's up?
I love your optimism. So this guy here would agree with you.
What y'all talking about?
We're talking about how bad our Steelers are going to be. As a former Steeler.
Oh, it's tough, man. It's tough.
See?
Changing of the guard. We'll see what happens.
I'm very high on Ken thinking he's not.
Yeah.
Tyler knows my passion.
Yeah, whenever y'all are ready, I'm ready.
So how's Adam Randall?
Yeah, I mean, Adam, it's funny because people are comparing him to Amari, just his work ethic. And what's funny, actually, is when Adam got injured, I happened to be in the room, in the receiver room, and he was on the phone with Amari. And Amari was giving him advice, hey, listen, here's what you can do on the side. Here's some extra things you can be doing. I would always be doing something extra, is what he was saying, Gave him some encouragement, which is the main thing, for a mid-year freshman to get in here and to tear his ACL your first spring. That's challenging, and he was really doing well, And so it's frustrating as a coach because you want him to come in and contribute, and we thought that he could, man, he was lights out, and so very frustrating for all of us. And so I think the main thing for him, man, is just staying encouraged. I think whenever fall camp begins, it's going to be hard watching his teammates out there performing and he can't. That's going to be challenging. But right now he's in good spirits. He helped us out at the ladies' clinic and was out there with his mom, Wanda, and so he's okay. He's ahead of schedule. That's what I'll say relating to his recovery. He's ahead of schedule, and they rave about him down there. They have to pull him back. Like, he wants to do more. Want to make sure he does it safely and progresses the way that he needs to, and so that when he does come back this season, he'll be fully healthy and won't skip a beat. So,
is there any timeline?
I don't have.
Yeah.
So, having seen both him and Amari work, would you agree that with that assessment, just with everybody talking about just comparing their work ethics?
Yeah, I think they're very like-minded. To have a freshman come in with that kind of mindset is incredible. And he and I would meet, and he's one of the better note takers I have in my room. He showed up polished, comes from a great program, Myrtle Beach, and has some great trainers he works with, and so he's committed to his craft. And so, yeah, I think it's a pretty good comparison as far as, their mentality, their work ethic, and what they bring to the table with that.
Coach, you had a lot of injuries last season and a lot of youth as well, but a lot of drops. How frustrating was that for you, and what can you do?
Yeah, that's, I think as at Clemson, we make the routine plays all the time, right? We make the impossible catches most of the time. I heard that in 2005 when I was here, that's just what we're about. And, some of those things are kind of troubling and confusing, and I think for us, it's just, hey man, listen, let's not focus. I think as a receiver, you can't be thinking about catching the ball or dropping the ball. Certainly not dropping the ball. You're out there playing full speed, having fun, playing free. And so I think that's just my job of, hey man, listen, let's play confident, let's play free and have fun. And obviously you're working nonstop on hands and every little detail when it comes to wide receiver play. But man, it's something that, it starts in the mind first. That's what I would say, so making sure you have the right mindset each and every practice, each and every game, and it'll take care of itself. So.
How was that help with some of the other guys like EJ and Joseph?
Yeah, I think talking about Joe relating to his health, I think this is the healthiest he's been. He's had a phenomenal winter. And he just maintained that all the way through spring. I'm hearing great things about him this summer in a lot of different areas relating to his leadership, and his ability to show up day in and day out and compete and do so at 100%, full speed, and he's healthy. So he's doing well. EJ is progressing really well. From what I'm hearing, he'll be full go day one. Fall camp, which is awesome. He's a starter for us. He's in that top group of guys that we know what he can do, and so anticipate him being able to help us, as a starter. And that's what I'm telling him. Hey man, you got to be ready to help us win games. You got to start for us day one. That's kind of his mindset. So he's doing really well. Will Taylor, same thing, right? He's coming back from an ACL this last season. He's looking great. He's out there full speed and skills and drills. So yeah, guys are doing well.
Antonio Williams, is he going to start in the slot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what have you kind of heard about him so far?
Yeah. Guys are raving about him, both on offense and defense. When you have your defensive guys talking about a receiver, they don't want to give receivers much praise. Those DBs, whenever you can get that, especially on a freshman, that's pretty awesome. And so we knew that he was a great player, and he also knew there was a need, for a guy like him in our offense. Losing an Amari, from a couple seasons ago, and so he's done exceptionally well from what I'm hearing this summer.
How is he kind of doing playbook-wise, getting the offense down, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we actually, we haven't been able to meet with them this summer. We're limited as far as NCAA rules go. We actually will have an offensive meeting today and be able to kind of really work through, the details of our offense. Today, but he's already been out there with the guys. When it goes and drills, it's all player led, and so and that's the thing that I'll say too about my leadership is I would say it's definitely better this season than it has been in the past, and there's from top to bottom. I've got seniors, I've got sophomores, I've got freshmen that can all lead in their own way. I've got some guys. Ham Green took my freshman yesterday and said, "Hey, coach, what can I help these guys with?" And so he, on his own, went and took our freshmen and met with them and helping them install the playbook and all that. So, that's part of the process, learning signals, learning our tempo, our concept names. So that'll take some time, but whenever we get going, we'll help them with that. So.
Tyler, we know all about the injuries, starting a walk-on in the bowl game, but when everybody looks at the end of the year, they don't take that into account. They just say, "Hey, Tyler's group has to get better." Does that, as a competitor, does that drive you?
Oh, of course, yeah. I think for me, I learned a lot. My first year was that COVID year, and that had its own challenges. But I had some senior leadership, and it was amazing to have Amari, of course, to keep saying his name, and then Cornell. He was a senior, experienced leader, and he really kind of blossomed and kind of came into his own his fifth year, and we needed him. And it was great to see him play like he did and help our team win. And kind of heading into last year, didn't quite have that senior leadership, and that was the main thing I would say. It's just lacking in that, and maybe I took some things for granted, and I learned a lot from that. And yeah, it's you lose a lot of guys. It was comical at times. Just like, are you serious? Another injury or another sickness or whatever it was. It was challenging. And I'll say this, as a coach, I love my guys, and I hated for them not being at full strength. And also having to move guys around and play positions maybe they weren't best at, and that's tough. That's tough as a coach because you want your guys to play well, and especially you want them to, Will Swinney and Ross and those guys that are moving on. You want them to have a great finish to their career, and so that was challenging. And then for me as a competitor, I have a high standard for myself. I can be my own worst critic, believe it or not. People can say what they want, but I can sometimes be hard on myself. So yeah, I think this year I'm hungry. Our guys are hungry to show what we're about, and to live up to that standard at Clemson and what we've done for so many years. So you'll see it this year. There's that in my mind.
There's another notable wide receiver coach in the building. So at the end of the year, what was his message to you?
Yeah, it was good. I learned a lot from him, and we had some one-on-ones that were very helpful, and he was right there. He's good or bad, he's around. This is his baby, and so having him as a resource is incredible. And even after the season, he was even talking to my wife, and kind of encouraging her, he's like, listen, if Tyler can live through that, he can live through anything, and so it was, he's been encouraging and motivating, so we're in good shape. So.
Coach, how much of an impact do you think Will Taylor could have in the return game, and can Troy Stellato or anybody else in your room compete in the return game?
Sure, yeah. I mean, Will Taylor showed what he could do, and he's going to continue to grow and become more comfortable in that area. Antonio Williams, another guy that you're going to see back there returning kicks. Believe it or not, Adam Randall is a natural. I mean, you wouldn't. It's scary what he was doing back there and how natural he was tracking the ball as a punt returner. And so we've got guys this year. We have more options, and then with the slot, Will is going to compete for that. I mean, we needed him to kind of help as a reserve quarterback athlete, kind of use him as we could. This year he's strictly receiver, and so I'm excited to get my hands on him, man, and help him, and work at receiver. Hey, man, this is your job nonstop. Let's go. Let's be your best. And so we've got options this year. And shoot, we have guys that deserve to play. So we'll roll some dudes in there. I mean, we've got depth. I mean, I'm excited. I really am.
What have you heard about Troy this summer?
Yeah, I mean, Troy finished the spring really well. He's a guy that has got to remain healthy. That's his main thing. And so it's going to take extra for him. He's a redshirt freshman, but he has to see him. You got to be thinking like a pro. You got to be thinking like, hey, you're a senior on your way out. I mean, you got to be doing extra and making sure you remain healthy. So that's going to be the main thing for him. But I've heard he's done really well as well.
What's the next level look like for Beaux? How can he improve his game?
Great question. Yeah, I mean, Beaux, jumped on the scene and did a lot of good things for us his freshman year. I think consistency for him is huge. He played a few positions for us last year. As a freshman, that's not normal. And so for him, I think just dominance. Being a guy that we can put to the field or to the boundary. If we need him in the slot, we can put him there as well. Again, we have more options this year where we don't have to put him there as often. But he's going to play both. He's going to play everywhere. And I think for him is retaining all that information, but being a no doubt one-on-one. Hey, I see one-on-one. I'm giving him a shot more times than not. Same thing with Ngata. I mean, we got to have guys that are going to compete and go win those 50-50s. Let's say 80-20s. I mean, hey man, we have the advantage. Go win. And so I think just sheer dominance out there this season is needed from him, and that's what he expects. I mean, he's hard on himself, man. He's so hard on himself. He expects excellence. Sometimes I got to talk him off a ledge a little bit, but he expects to be elite. So.
Coach Grisham was talking in the spring about building in some post-snap answers down the field. How has that kind of affected your learning? What have you seen and how to kind of build that into the offense?
Yeah, I mean, we want to give our guys answers. We want them to be playing fast. We don't want them to think too much, right? That's the line. I think when you're dealing with this is not the NFL where you have all day with them. This is you're limited to 20 hours a week, and so I think for us is we want to be more creative. We want to give them just more opportunities to win. They're not locked into one route. I mean, you can run two or three, depending on the concept, and it takes a lot of reps. And so I think for us, simplicity, but more reps at what we do well. And so that's going to be important this fall camp. Starting early with all that we've installed and the things we plan to still install. We got to do it early and rep it to where game one we're ready to roll. So that's right.
Is EJ a guy you'll move around to different?
Yeah, he is. I mean, he should play all three, and we can with what we have, our personnels are going to be fun this year. Getting back to some 10 personnel. I mean, we can do that. And so he's a guy that can be a mismatch in the slot because he has the feet and the quickness to do that. He has the length to play outside. He can finish downfield. We've seen that. So yeah, he'll move around plenty.
Is that going into fall camp? Will it be inside and Beaux?
No, yeah,
outside?
Yeah. I mean, we'll have Joe, for sure in the boundary starting out. He'll also play the field. Beaux will play the field and the boundary. They're going to be playing. They're not going to be locked into one place. After what I've seen the last couple of years, we're definitely going to have a plan for guys to be able to move around. And I think for us too. I mean, if you're not doing so much, right? you can afford to move guys around because you're learning the full concept and understanding the quarterback's read, and it makes sense. You can see the picture of what you're trying to accomplish in the concept, and so yeah, we'll move those guys around.
Being able to move those guys around, just how does that kind of help the offense? Do you feel like and help that group?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's you can create mismatches, and I think for us too is being able to motion and move guys around to accomplish mismatches and to create leverage is huge. And I think too, it creates confidence for your guys. They bring more value, and also too, I mean, listen, like our guys want to play in the NFL. You're showing up in the NFL expected to know the concept. They're not putting your position on the screen when they install. They're drawing dots. You don't know where you're at. You're having to learn the concept. All right, and then say, okay, well, here's the concept. Well, today we're doing out of this formation. Okay, well, I know I'm here on this formation. Well, that means I have this route. You have to understand concept. And so that's, for me, it's always trying to help these guys also prepare for the next level, too. And so we ask a lot of them. I'm going to continue to ask more and more than what they've experienced in years past.
Another older guy that you have back is Brannon Spector.
Yeah.
People don't mention him a lot. What have you seen out of him? What do you expect out of him?
Well, we're expecting him to start. It's funny. He came back and he was coming off of an injury, missed all that season, and all of a sudden EJ is down. We were expecting him to be ready for spring, and his knee, hit him again, and so we said, okay, we got to move forward with surgery, and so I was like, all right, Spec, I'm gonna take care of you as best as I can, but understand you're starting day one of spring practice, and I tried my best, but man, he got more reps than he anticipated. But man, I think what happened is that he was so encouraged by that because he was able to maintain. There was times where he's like, Coach, I need a rep, and tap out, and that's fine. We're trying to get him back. He did so much more and did so much better maybe than we anticipated coming off of missing an entire season. And so, I'm glad someone finally asked about him. Because again, where's he been? Well, shoot, he came back and he impressed everybody. And so he's right now, he's walking out there first at that slot, and so I'm so thrilled for him, and he wants it. He's like, Coach, I want to start. And I'm like, well, go earn it, go get it. And so far, he's showing that he deserves to run out there first, and he will. So.
You talked about the urgency of installation early in camp. I'm wondering, all the attrition on offense during the spring, how much was that process sort of set back with so many people being sort of on the shelf?
Yeah, and it's not just our position; it's tight end, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to be cognizant of, hey, listen, you've got one scholarship tight end right now, so that limits you in your personnel groupings. So yeah, we were limited a little bit with some of that, and that's fine. I think too, it's a new staff, so we had to be careful, maybe doing too much, right? We had to change terminology. Well, that takes a lot of work too, and so. That was probably our main emphasis starting out is, all right, let's change some terminology, let's change signals, kind of our process with how we're getting into play. We've got some former Clemson family elsewhere this season, right? So we have to be smart, and I think that was a big part of our installation. It was all that too, and then you can build on it.
Coach, playing Justyn at the slot last season, that wasn't a natural position for him. How much do you think that affected your offense?
There's a lot of things that happen that people don't fully understand. It was challenging for him. He was limited early in camp. He broke his foot. There's a lot of things that really hurt his progression in the slot. And again, it came down to personnel. You want your best three on the field. And so how do we accomplish that? And similar to EJ, Ross is a big body, but he has the feet and the quickness and the ability to sink his hips to play the slot. And so, and that's what was challenging and frustrating. He missed the first, 10 days of fall camp, learning a new position, and then toward the end of fall camp, he breaks his foot, heading into game week of Georgia, so he was limited in practice, and so that was challenging, and it did. I mean, it posed some challenges that we weren't prepared for or anticipating, and for us to be successful in our offense in years past, especially kind of how our offense was set up. You got to have a guy in the slot that can catch your outlet screens and make you right sometimes. It's not always going to be blocked perfectly. It's, there's going to be a one-on-one matchup. And we could have given Justyn a few more opportunities to make a play, I think. But it was a challenging situation.
What has it been like to work with Brandon Streeter in his new role as offensive coordinator? And what have y'all done to build momentum for the new fall camp and the season?
Streeter's been incredible. I think he's one of the most detailed guys I've been around. He has coordinator experience, and so he's prepared, and he has loads of documents, all right, to help us stay detailed, and so, man, he's done an incredible job of being collaborative. He wants us all to have input, and so we have, group discussions, whether it be with the 5 assistants or with all the support staff. We have a phenomenal support staff, and so he uses his staff, and that's the thing I think that's great. It's like, hey, listen, we're hired to do a job. He's going to ask us to do our job, and he's going to give us freedom to do it and have input. And so I respect that, and it kind of helps us as young coaches learn and take ownership and prepare to be a coordinator ourselves someday. And so that's been really cool. And I think our guys have really bought in because we've rolled out changes that are helpful. It's not change to change, but it's, hey, listen, this is how we can improve, this one concept. Hey, let's continue to run this concept, but here's a wrinkle to help us. And it's shown up in spring practice. Oh, I like that, coach. That's awesome. They love it, and so that's been great. I mean, he's a phenomenal leader, and so that's been great. And we have momentum. We have momentum because of what we were able to accomplish in the spring. And create buy-in. That's the main thing, man. You have to create buy-in with your guys. They have to know that we're working as a staff to improve, to make them successful, and they see that. So yeah, they've bought in, and we had a fun spring. It was fun. You got the personnel to have a lot of fun, to make plays, and so it'll be a successful season.
Is Antonio a guy you feel like from day one you're going to need to replace him?
Oh yeah, I mean, he's going to compete. I mean, again, he's a guy that's already, we knew, we recruited him for a reason, and we play our freshmen. I mean, our guys, if you're capable and you know what you're doing and you're healthy, let's go earn it. But man, we play our freshmen. And so yeah, he'll be a guy that's going to compete early, and that's the thing that guys know, man. You're gonna have to go earn it. Running out there first is an honor, but you have to earn that. And even if you're not running up there first, you've seen Justyn Ross lead our team in receiving coming off the bench. Like, that's kind of what we've done, and so we have that personnel. But let's go play, and everybody gets to eat.
Do you feel more confident about where your guys are and kind of their mindset, whether it's perimeter blocking? You mentioned spot blocking in the spring, kind of going into this camp versus last year.
Yeah, it's want to. I mean, all that's want to. And I think for me is I'm showing up with a little bit different mentality myself, and the guys picked up on that this spring. And for me, I'm not hamstrung to having to play one person. Like, hey, get your job done, or I can get somebody else in. I mean, I love you. They know that. I mean, we have great relationships, but ultimately it's about performance. It's about doing your job. And so whoever can do their job the best is going to run out there first. So, and that's part of the game.
Cole Turner, do you know where he'll start out?
He's going to start to the field at Z, or our 2-man. And he can run. I mean, that's, I'm pumped about Cole because, that's the other thing that I want, and that's what I'm recruiting. My guys out there know I'm recruiting a certain kind of mentality, and Cole has that toughness, that physicality, that I look for, and so that helps him kind of set himself apart already. Is that mindset, and so that's going to help him He'll continue to grow and develop and compete as well. I mean, he's not showing up just to watch. So we expect him to compete.
You mentioned putting guys in the league. How much success of Nuke and Renfro, T, all those guys have in recruiting? How easy does that make your job?
Yeah, I mean, we've put guys in the league, and not only that, they've shown up to the league and they've produced better than any other program in the country. And so we have those numbers to back it up. I mean, and so every guy that we're recruiting has aspirations of playing in the NFL. And so yeah, I mean, it helps recruiting without a doubt, and having Coach Swinney, I mean, to talk about his experience and his involvement in coaching, helping coach receivers is huge. And so yeah, I mean, it's this place, already is appealing to a recruit, but when they show up here, they see the numbers, they get around our staff. I mean, it sells itself.
Tyler, is it fair looking back to say this offense schematically might have gradually lost some of its edge or some of its innovative qualities in your mind when you're talking about a lot of the newer concepts to help put the guys in position to play?
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got great athletes all over the field, and I think what helps being simple allows you to play fast. And we've always played fast. We've always tried a goal of 80 snaps a game. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. And you've seen the success we've had for so long, And so for us, you look around the league, you look around college football, there may be some use my words carefully, there may be some cool things, there may be some attractive concepts here and there. Ultimately, it's really kind of wrinkles on what everybody's doing. I mean, it's a copycat sport. The NFL is a copycat league. I mean, so it's. I think that's a narrative that maybe isn't totally accurate. And you can watch football and you can have your own critiques, but I would say that that'd be a little unfair, to be honest with you. It comes down to players making plays, plain and simple, And so yeah. I mean, I think for us, is we've taken our offense and we've continued to run a lot of what we've run in the past, added wrinkles, added new concepts, and then go play. Let your 4 and 5 stars and shoot your walk-ons, right? That are phenomenal players as well. Okay, go make plays.
How do you look at your room in terms of, in a perfect world, does 6 guys have about 30 catches in range? Are you a big on having 1 or 2 guys? Have your experience as the team's been, look, 1 or 2 guys have to be the guy? I mean, what's kind of your whole philosophy?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's you look at what we have right now. Who's gonna emerge, right? I mean, I think we've been waiting on Ngata. Well, he's been injured. So, I mean, I expect him to be a bell guy.
Specifically that being specifically like one guy or one?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, what can help us win games? I mean, we've, I mentioned earlier, we play our guys. Justyn Ross led our team in receiving coming off the bench one year, right? So, it doesn't matter where you're at. We play our guys. And so, we're going to find our best players, and we actually we have kind of some newer documents and Coach. I mean, we've always given our playmakers the ball, but we have concepts where we know we want to give our slot the ball right here. How can we manufacture that? How can we create a concept? How can we create a motion to get that mismatch for our playmaker? I mean, Amari Rodgers was our leading receiver from the slot a couple seasons ago, right? Well, he was our best receiver, so we got him involved. Okay, so we have the ability to do that and to create plays for our best players. And so for me, it's to me, I don't care about the numbers. Our guys, we want to win games, and yeah, they want to get theirs, absolutely, and they will naturally. But for us, man, we're in the business of winning football games, and all that will take care of itself. You've got Justyn Ross and T. Higgins, playing one position for most of the year, and they both had 1,000 yards on us, right? So, hey, we can continue to operate that way and be just fine.
Can you describe the confidence you have in your pass catcher?
A lot of confidence. Yeah. A lot.
All right, thank you guys very much.
called the family now?
Okay.
Yeah.